If you ever saw this chair before, well, you will surely recognize the Embody by Herman Miller. I'm at SV Concept in Geneva, which has opened its door for me. I will show you how to adjust the Embody, and I will also give you my ergonomic opinion on this chair. Well, first things first, let's have a look at the controls. You see here is the height adjustment. It's not easy to recognize the height adjustment with this button, which is a unique design, but you can lift it up and down. Here you can also adjust the resistance of the tilt mechanism. Here is the adjustment of the backrest, which we're going to discuss later. Here is the blocking mechanism for the tilt mechanism, and here we will see how to adjust the seat depth. The armrests can be adjusted in height as well as in width. So how do we adjust the chair? Well, let's start with the height. You bring the chair all the way to the top, sit back in the chair, and you will see that the heels go off the ground. So you bring it down until you feel a firm pressure under your heels. And here you will recognize that your knees are more or less 90 degrees. But remember, what we want is a comfortable hip joint as well as pressure under your heels. This is the proper criteria. Now let's focus on the seat depth. If there's not enough space behind your knee fold, you will feel some kind of discomfort here, and therefore you will want to push it back until there's no more pressure in the fold of the knees. To adjust the backrest, we will bring this control all the way down and tilt the chair. If you can't tilt it, well, lower the resistance by unfastening this button here. You see? And once you're reclining backwards, you will be able to feel what impact has this button here at the back. If I tighten the button, I feel, say, more pressure in the lumbar area, as well as more support behind my shoulder blades. And if I untighten the lever, my whole back is kind of less under pressure, means also less supported. There's another effect to this adjustment. When the adjustment is at the minimum, you have pressure low in your pelvic area. And if you tighten a bit more, you will feel that the pressure moves upward in your back. So one way to adjust it is what I did just now, which is put it at the minimum and tighten until you feel that the belt is supported, not the buttock area. And from the moment the belt is well adjusted, well, you can play around with the shoulder support, provided that you don't move your support higher in the lower back area. So remember, you want the maximum of pressure right behind your belt here. And then when you work, my advice is that you lock the tilt mechanism so that the chair has some micro movement, but that it supports your weight. And you see that my posture is such that the shoulder blades are free. How do we adjust the armrest? You bring them down to their lowest position, you relax your shoulders, you flex your elbow 90 degrees, and we're going to raise the armrest so that they're just under the surface of your forearm. And then they can be adjusted in width. You see that if they are that far to the side, I will have to spread the elbow sideways, which is a source of neck and shoulder strain. If I bring it there so that it supports my forearm, or say stays under my forearm when I'm relaxed, then I'm comfortable. And then I do the same on the other side so as to feel symmetric. If I'm not too sure whether I'm symmetric or not, I go against the table and I check. You see here I'm like 2 fingers under the table surface. Here I'm also 2 fingers under the table surface, so I'm symmetric. This is therefore your sitting posture when you want to work. And when you want to relax or give a call, well, you can use the tilt block mechanism and relax backwards. Bear in mind though that the chair has no headrest, and therefore what will prevent your head from falling this way is the anterior neck muscles. And therefore when I recline like this, I'm actually subject to forward head posture. So this is a posture to adopt, that you can adopt from time to time, but you shouldn't get into the habit of gaming like this or working like this. Now that we have seen how to adjust the chair, well, let's try to understand who should use it versus who should, well, rather find another model. We'll start with the height. See, if I put the chair at its highest, my feet are away from the floor. Therefore, people who are taller than me and quite taller than me will find it great to sit on this chair. Well, let's look at what's the minimum height now. I'm more or less 50% of the European population. And what I see is that when the chair is at the lowest, well, I'm sitting slightly too low, but just slightly. This means in practice that short people will find this chair too high. The same goes for the seat depth adjustment. You see here the chair seat depth is at the minimum, and well, there's enough space behind my knee fold, no problem. But there's not ample space behind my knee fold. So people who are, say, taller than me will have no problem with this chair. People who are shorter than me might quickly find it too deep. In practice, I recommend that if you buy a chair for many people, say for a population, an office population, and you have a number, of course, of short people, the minimum seat depth should be around 38 centimeters. This one is 40 to 41, nothing exceptional. I mean, that's becoming quite the standard on the market, but bear in mind that short people might not be comfortable on this chair. So all in all, this means that this is a chair rather for medium to tall people, whilst short people would better be advised to look for something else. Indeed, of course, you can always find separate adjustments like footrest, like all these kind of things. But I find it, a pity to buy such an expensive and good chair, and next to that to have a footrest. The market for chairs is wide. There are chairs which are more adapted for short people. Well, direct your attention to those. There's a feature on this chair which I find particularly interesting, is the backrest tension adjustment. You see, this adjustment here that we saw before is something that I've never seen on any other chair before. And I've never had this feeling on a chair that you can both shape the pressure along your back and at the same time, to some degree, not as much as if the backrest would move up and down, bring the pressure rather in the lower back area or above the pelvis. So this is really, from an engineering point of view, a very, very interesting feature. If you're looking for a chair that gives you something that other chairs don't give you, well, I find that this is really something that you may be interested in. If you buy this chair for a population, the question is whether they will be able to appreciate that or not. Well, my experience is that if you don't train people, forget about it. They don't know and care about the features of their chair. If you train them and it's their chair, i.e. they don't change every day, no hot desking, they might adjust it once. Very few people will really enjoy the benefits in a corporate setting of readjusting their chair every day. I mean, some of them will, of course, but not most people. So in short, I would say that this feature is a feature for people who are kind of passionate about their chair, passionate about their posture, but mainly for whom the chair is a personal item, not a shared item. When I first sat on the chair, I only could see that the armrests were moving like this, and I was thinking, why the hell did they do this kind of arc shape movement? So that, you know, I can only bring the armrests closer together if I bring them higher. That's because I hadn't seen this feature, and I find it a great thing that they can be adjusted in both dimensions. On some chair models, the armrest can also be brought together, not on this one. Well, it's not necessarily disturbing because when they are here, they're relatively close together, but this is, say, something that you find on other chairs, including from Herman Miller, that you don't find on this one. On the less positive side, maybe, some people may be disturbed by the width of the seat pan. They may feel lost. If so, try to bring the armrests closer together and feel if you still have the same impression or not. What's maybe the most negative point is that it's not easy to adjust the seat depth. It's quite of an effort on both hands to move it upwards and to bring it front back. Again, if this is an adjustment that you do only once because this is your chair, not a problem, you'll be very much able to live with it. But these adjustments make it a bit difficult to be readjusted every day, or at least not difficult, but not inviting. All in all, are we talking about a good chair? Of course, we're talking about a great chair. Are we talking about the chair that is right for you? Depends. I can't say. It depends on your budget and it depends on how you feel when you sit on it. And therefore, again, same message as in every one of my videos, you should never buy a chair without testing it. But if you want to shortlist a number of chairs to be tested and see if they're the right fit for you, and if you have the budget to afford such a chair, you can shortlist it, test it, and, well, see for yourself.